Out here, nothing is guaranteed. No shortcuts, no promises, just miles of ground. And the hope that somewhere in it, a giant lives. Most people quit before they ever get close. They hunt where it's easy, where it's familiar. But giants live in the overlooked places, next to the road, in a backyard, the places no one thinks to look. And then it happens. One photo, now you know he exists. Now, every decision matters. Wind direction, entry routes, timing. Because when you're hunting a whitetail like this, you're not just chasing antlers. You're matching wits with an animal that survived every season before this one. This is why we do it. Not for easy hunts, not for guarantees, but for the challenge of finding something that doesn't want to be found. The search for giant whitetails is what keeps us coming back.
So here he is. This is Beamer. We got the side-by-side loaded up. We are getting ready to head to one of my newer spots this year, and I got to pull a camera and one deer in there. I'll show you a picture right here. Ooh. That deer right there showed up a couple times during nighttime. I want to get a couple more pictures of him, and then we can see if he's moving around the property during daylight. That's the goal. I have a few other deer showing up on trail camera last week that we'll see what happens, right, Nala? Yeah. I got my partner in crime, Nala girl. She rides with me, sits in the Ranger, doesn't make a huge deal about it. So we are on our way to start getting some stuff done. It's 4:08. Got to do it when you got to do it. You know, got to do it when you can get it done. So here it is. Ohio 2025, October 1st, my brother was fortunate enough to harvest browse. Check out that video if you haven't already. It's a pretty awesome hunt. One to remember, that's for sure. As the season continues here, right now I have a few deer I'm after. One in particular, I've named Beamer. He's got real long beams. He's a mainframe 6x6. I thought he was a 7x7 in velvet, but he ended up wanting to be 6x6, but still a really cool deer. He's on the radar. I got my number one deer. I've been after him, and I've been hunting him pretty hard. So I've been staying after my number one deer. I got a bunch of pictures of Beamer. I like to see him in person one time, so I go and I decide to hang an observation set after this deer, and I mean, I had a heck of a hunt, so we'll let that roll right here. Hunted that stand, that observation set, saw where a lot of the deer were transitioning out of this, small wood lot backed up against the highway into this cut cornfield, and I ended up moving my stand, doing a hang on and a camera, and just leaving it. I decided to focus on my number one deer. He's the most mature and I think the biggest I had on camera, and that's kind of like what I like to do is, I like to look at all the properties I got new this year and kind of see what the potential on that farm or that property is there, and through recon, observation, and any time I can spend out there. And then, I know I'm not seeing every deer, but I'm seeing a good bit of them, and then from there I'll kind of hone in on a certain area or a certain deer, and that's where I put a lot of my efforts towards. So as the season rolls on, bow hunting, after my number one target deer, I'm getting lots of pictures of Beamer. I decided early on I was going to leave him for next year. I wasn't going to pursue him, and I just wasn't going to hunt that stand. So I do that observation set, have a great hunt. I move my stand, get it placed in a really great access point. Great access and egress, utilizing an electric bike. Keeps my scent off the ground, and I can use a waterway to keep me from being seen from the woods. Takes specific wind to be able to hunt that spot. Couldn't hunt it on a lot of winds. It was you know, predominantly on a cold front wind. That was what that stand was set for. And I had a camera hung there, and then I never really messed with it again. I stayed after, you know, I had a few other deer on good deer on camera, but one in particular really, I had it out for him this year, and that was the one I wanted from the beginning of the season. When he started showing up, I said that's the one I was going to kill. That was the one that I was going to focus all my efforts on. As you can tell, obviously, Beamer was not my number one, but he's still a beautiful deer, and I'm super thankful I got to harvest him. And this video is all about the story of beautiful deer like him, and the hard work goes into getting a beautiful deer like that. So I'm busy hunting my number one. I leave that stand to scent, and had a lot of good hunts, and here's a couple clips of those hunts. So I've been steady after my number one deer, and the trail cam pictures of Beamer keeps rolling in, and I know where he's at, I know where he's bedding, and you know, I'm just staying out of there because I really like to see this deer go another year. Well, bow season comes to an end, gun season rolls around, and I'm like anybody, man. I'll kill a deer with whatever I can effectively kill a deer with, and I ain't too good to go break down and use a gun. Most of my stuff are set up for bow hunting anyways, because it's the longevity of the spot. You know, gun season's only for a week. I can bow hunt all season long. So I typically will set all my stands and blinds up in a way that I can still bow hunt that area, whether it's close enough to transition points or trails or corn pile or whatever it is where the deer are moving. I'm usually within bow range, but I'm not too prideful to put down the bow and bring a gun and shoot a deer at 30, 40 yards with a gun. It just seems more effective, and I'm all about how quickly and cleanly and effective you can kill a deer. So gun season rolls around. I'm excited. I got the 4570 Henry 4570 lever action, and I'm excited to use it. Some pressure and some unforeseen things I can't really control on my number one. Really shuts down his activity, but I still have hope, and I'm still thinking that that's going to be my number one deer. That's the only deer I'm going to shoot. As I'm hunting him, I start getting pictures of Beamer more in daylight, a lot more than usual with him, and he's got a hunchback, and he's kind of appears to be his leg or shoulder, something's injured, but his back's all hunched up, and he's starting to show up more and more in daylight. And it made me real nervous because this is a deer that I believe had, you know, world-class potential to be something. He's just really special character. He could have been an amazing deer, and, you know, I've never been the one to pass deer. That's really just not me, usually. But this year's just a little different. I have more properties, and I have more deer to go after, so I'm all for if I can let a couple, you know, younger deer go, I'm down for it. But when he started coming in injured and looking hurt, I decided, you know, it's Saturday of gun season. I'm getting close. I'm really on the tail end of my number one. I believe if I would have stayed at it, I probably could have harvested him, but I felt the right thing to do was at least go out and get eyes on Beamer. So I go out there, sure enough, I get eyes on Beamer. That didn't work out like I wanted it to. He was on me, he was so close. Beamer's down, baby. So here he is. This is Beamer. Here it is, December 6th, 2025. Finally got this deer down. The 4570 X model. Went to work. Got it all on film, and I'm super thankful to be able to do this, and I'm super stoked with this deer and super happy. He was on the hit list. I thought he was a little younger, but when he started showing up on camera more in daylight, he kind of looked like he had limping, arched back. Sure enough, tonight when he came in, he had an injury to his front left leg. I don't know if he got hit by a car, horned. Don't see any damage over here, but his leg's pretty messed up. So a beautiful caliber deer right here. Got this property earlier this year, just door knocking permission farms. And he was one of the first deer that showed up on the farm, and I've been after a different deer that's much older than him, but he was always on the radar, kept eyes on him, and I was lucky enough today, thank God, that I was able to harvest him. So hard work, patience, dedication, man, it'll all come together in the end. You just gotta stay after it. I just love doing this, and I'm super thankful that I get the opportunity to do this. And here's another beautiful deer to add to the wall here. So super thankful. I want to thank, most importantly, the man upstairs. I just can't be thankful enough for thank you for this deer. Thank you, buddy. Beautiful deer goes down, and that's Ohio 2025. It's a wrap. WhitetailBoyz TV, let's go.